Here's a look at something you see now in the refrigerated units at, say, PetSmart, PetCo places, which are actually a very simple way for a lot of people to get food for their bearded dragons, especially people that don't have a lot of exposure to insects or like to be around them. Mealworms are a good thing for them about twice a week, but wax worms are something real quick that I like to give them about maybe once a week or every 10 days. They're really fatty and kind of squishy, like think of a slug but dried out, like a dried out slug texture. But you can see they're like little squishy grubs, and these are healthy wax worms. This is what you want to feed them. You don't want to give them ones that look like this. And one thing with wax worms to look for, they die very easily in their little containers. So if you get them, always open up the lid and make sure that they're not dead. If they're black, they're all dried out, don't get those. Because sometimes they'll have shipments that are really healthy and then sometimes they won't. And if you look at the pet stores, they mark the date on the lid that they received, or sometimes even the date that the mealworm is born. Oh my goodness. What's happening? Come back up here. Goodness. And over here waiting, I have Kevin and Batgirl. Kevin? And I don't usually sit them right next to each other. They're on my lap. But I'm going to make sure each one gets one worm. There you go. Let me put that down for you. No, right there. And wax worms are different than mealworms in this way. See, the mealworms are a lot crunchier and have a lot more fiber in them and are kind of a bigger stature compared to a wax worm. And okay, here's an example. This is mealworm right here. Mealworm. And a wax worm. Wax worm is kind of like a mealworm that's just molted its skin. A molted mealworm is very similar to a wax worm. And we used to find these in beehives a lot. When I was in college, I studied entomology as one of my majors, and we worked a lot with the live honeycombs, and we're battling varroa mites at the time in the wild hives. But wax worms were a pretty common unwelcome thing you see in the beehives, and actually here's why. See these webs they make? It's kind of gross. They web up the inside of the honeycombs and burrow through it and cause all kinds of trouble in the honeycombs for the bees. However, if you are a bearded dragon, they're delicious. And I like the wax worms because they stick to the calcium powder really well. There you go, hon. And I got off work recently, so here we are hanging out together, watching news. Kevin's getting ready to shed. You can see how he's opaque in color, and he's going to shed his whole body. Now, I adopted him. He was really aggressive, and the owner that had him grew him up from a little tiny baby and became frightened of him because he was too big. But he's not too big. No. You can tell he's going to be a male when he is fully grown because of his little ridges right here. Now, I could be wrong. I have been wrong, obviously. And he's got more of like a heart-shaped head right here. And Batgirl here is clearly female, although she's not fully grown. You can see her head is more smooth right here and narrow and thin. Just one of the ways. See there? It's going to be a male, and you got your female. And we had an incident earlier. I was changing to some calci sand while I'm moving everything around, and the cat used that as a litter box, and it was really traumatic. So now I have to go clean up all of this stuff here. It's kind of gross.